Hi, and welcome to Ask the Chiropractor. I'm Dr. Corey Rodnick, and my co-host here, Dr. Tony Rodnick.
A pleasure to be here.
Absolutely, and it's great to be here again. And today we're going to talk about degeneration, which will encompass a lot of different things. And we had a few other topics, but first, a surprise. So I was at the International Chiropractic Association at their annual meeting, and there Dr. Tony Rodnick was nominated and unanimously given the federation, it's the Fellows of the International Chiropractic Association. She is now a fellow, which is the highest thing you can get in the International Chiropractic Association. I think there's maybe 200 plus people who have this award, and it's a cute little pin, very pretty, and I'd like to be able to pin you with this.
Thank you.
So here you go. Oh, she just want me to do it.
Well, it's kind of awkward on camera here. I could pin it myself.
There we go. And congratulations.
Thank you.
So that gives you all the rights and privileges of the Fellows of the International Chiropractic Association.
Wow, that was unexpected. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Yeehaw. I've been saving that up. It's hard to keep a secret from her. So, really, congratulations.
Thank you.
And it's a big deal. And you get a breakfast out of it when they have a meeting. But it's really cool, the people who are in it. All the college presidents of the chiropractic schools, and it's pretty kind of neat. And they get together and we discuss things.
Looking forward
Very
to going to the
secret.
next meeting now
Yes.
that I can go to
Now
the
that you can
breakfast.
go to the breakfast. So yeah, we meet like at 7 in the morning every time. Once we met in the afternoon, but other than that. But it's always at the annual event, and it's very cool. It's a big honor. And now you have more initials on the back of your name. FICA.
I guess so.
Yep. Like you didn't have enough. So anyway, so we're going to talk about degeneration a little bit and regeneration that goes along with that, because you saw my x-rays. I was pretty degenerated.
A lot of people say that once the discs are degenerated, you can't regenerate them, but I've seen your x-rays and I've seen how hard you work. It took a lot of work and dedication, but things can regenerate.
You know, I was explaining it to a patient yesterday while looking at his x-rays, and he's like, how would you fix something like that? And I said, well, I personally won't be, but I'll be helping you with it.
Yeah, the body has to do the fixing. You just have to supply the necessary materials.
And I explained it like, if you have a little cut on your hand, on your arm, let's say, and let's say you have instructions to rub it 70 times in the morning, 70 times in the afternoon, and 70 times at night. Would that cut ever heal?
No. Well, it would heal by itself, but the rubbing doesn't cause it to heal.
No, the rubbing's going to make it tear off the cells. It won't heal, and then it'll eventually turn black and fall off. So I'm just saying, if you rub off those skin cells, like every time you blink, you have to make more eyeball cells. It's a medical term. Okay, so you have to make more cells, though. And every time you go like this, you'll notice little flakes. If you have it in the light, little flakes come off. Now that I said that. Okay, so in order to rebuild it, your body has to make new cells.
Now you have to allow your body to have the time to do it. You don't want to keep rubbing it off, picking at the scabs, things like that.
Yes.
And the Band-Aid doesn't make the body heal. It might just allow it to without interference, without things knocking the scab off, without irritating it. But the body itself is what causes the healing.
So what would cause it to be more regenerative?
Are we talking discs, or are we talking...
Okay, let's talk about this.
Well, discs, once we reach a certain age, there's no circulation to the discs. The way we get nutrients in and waste out is through motion. So we got to make sure there's correct motion. Now, when the bones go out of place in what we call subluxations, that doesn't allow the bones to motion properly. So we want to correct the subluxation. We want to do motions, like if it's in the neck, we might tell them to do gentle motions. And we want to supply the nutrients that it needs. These are made out of water, so you want to drink plenty of fluids. And what our suggestion usually is take your body weight in pounds and divide it by 2, and that's how many ounces of water you should be drinking a day. If you're not drinking enough, slowly increase it, or else you'll be in the bathroom all day. And then calcium complex. These are also made out of calcium complex. In our society, we say calcium makes strong bones and teeth, but it's not calcium. It's a calcium complex. Calcium, magnesium, manganese, phosphorus, D3, glucosamine. Kind of like if you're making a cement porch. Pebbles are one of the main ingredients of cement, but if we just keep throwing pebbles on the porch, it's not going to get stronger. It might even get weaker, so you need the whole mix.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the factors, like you were talking about the subluxation and misalignment, why is that so critically important?
Well, besides allowing the bones to motion properly and pump the nutrients in, it also allows the nerve function to be optimal. Because if the bones are subluxated, they can also put pressure on the nerves.
I noticed with, I had a tire guy come in one time and he was explaining me, I was trying to tell him about degeneration, and he came in and said, well, I actually know what the misalignment is and how much it causes the tire to degenerate. So he actually gave me a magazine with it all calculated out. And then when you apply that same information to the spine, so if it's misaligned, it's going to deteriorate at a much faster rate than the rest of the discs.
Right.
So the alignment, if it's aligned, you're going to have a much better chance of regenerating. And then again, with all the things you just talked about.
Because when it's misaligned, it's putting pressure unevenly. It's putting more pressure in some spots than in other spots.
It's also like, you know, your slider door, if it's misaligned, see how it catches
The friction,
and everything else. It just wears it out, just tears the whole door apart. So that's a biggie. And I know for myself, I had to keep getting adjusted. I had to keep taking a million different nutrients, and I had to do a lot of different exercises in order to bring me back to a livable, functioning human being again.
And you had to be patient because healing takes time.
Yeah, that was time.
It took you like 3 years.
It did. It took 3 years. So just so you folks know, I was completely disabled, and I came back. Yay. I know a lot of people have that, and I think it's wonderful. They say, oh, it's just because it's you or a miracle, or I'll take it all. I'm not going to hold any of that back.
But I saw the dedication and the devotion and the hard work it took. A lot of people might not commit to that, but if you see the big picture at the end, it's really worth it. Would you do it again?
Oh, in a heartbeat. I do it smarter even, because I had a problem just with, if you start feeling a little better. Again, I didn't take any painkillers, but I'm saying you start feeling a little better, and then you think, well, I could do this much, and you go out and do, let's say, 10 pounds 10 times, and then I'm crippled the next day. Then I can't do anything for 2 weeks. And then, it takes 2 weeks before I feel good enough to go ahead. But the next time I would have done, 5 pounds and done it, not 10 times, but 5 times. More of that, more consistency, less the ups and downs. Like even the barometric pressure, I was so bad that the barometric pressure would affect the amount I could do because, the swelling.
So let's go back for a minute. You said you didn't take any pain pills.
Right.
So what was the purpose of not taking pain pills?
Because otherwise I think I was okay. I would go I'm trying to regenerate these discs, not destroy them. So I would feel better, then I would go out and overdo it, and that would just tear everything up, and all the good work I did for months is now totally done.
So pain has a purpose.
Big purpose for me. I didn't like its purpose, but I didn't always agree with it. But yeah, I tell patients, if you're going to take a painkiller, don't do it so you can go out and play. Do it so you can go to sleep at night. Because let me tell you, being sick with a cold, sneezing with all my discs gone, that was unbelievable.
I like to compare pain to a smoke alarm. It's they're saying something's wrong. If the smoke alarm's going off, it's very annoying, just like the pain is annoying, and it stops you from doing things. But you can take the batteries out and the alarm stops. You can take the pain pills and the message stops. But meanwhile, the house burns down, or you don't feel the joint and you destroy it. You keep using it, you overdo it.
How about the opioids now? How many people are dying from opioids? It's some ridiculous amount.
Yeah.
What is it, every so many minutes? I don't know. It's crazy. It's got out of hand.
And they have an addicting effect. People continue on them afterwards because they physically need it.
Well, when you have this kind of nerve pain, there's not a lot that gets rid of this pain. And it's easy to overdo it because, I mean, when you pass out, okay, so originally when I hurt my disc, when I was 21 years old, they gave me a shopping bag. I went to the hospital, and again, I have nothing against anything they did. I'm just saying this was the procedure. They handed me a shopping bag full of drugs. I got so high from it that I couldn't drive for sure, but I couldn't use my leg anyway. So I was in pain to the point till I passed out. Because while I was on this, I couldn't do anything, but I still felt the pain. It was a lot less. It was still there, though. It's hard to kill that nerve pain, man. That's something. But why kill it? Why not use that as, okay, I have a real problem here. I mean, that was the one where that got me into chiropractic, because I went to a chiropractor before the surgery, the day before the surgery, and I got adjusted, and it was like a miracle. And I went off to chiropractic college 2 weeks later. And I was a pre-med student at Wayne State. You went to Wayne State.
Yeah, I went to Wayne State. I was a pre-med student at Wayne State.
Yeah, me too. And I dropped out, though. I still had 6 months to go. 6 months to go. And I left and went to chiropractic school. So I only had 3.5 years of college done at that time. And I got accepted and ran. I said, wow. I still didn't trust these guys, though. They were chiropractors. I said, I don't trust these guys. I thought they were just after all the pre-med students. But I said, man, that sure was a miracle, though.
Well, at one time the AMA was trying to eliminate chiropractic.
Yes,
and
they
they
were.
taught the medical doctors that chiropractic was dangerous. And well-meaning doctors that really had the patient's best intention were telling them not to go because they didn't understand what chiropractic was. Nowadays, we work better together, and a lot of the MDs actually understand chiropractic and see the value for their patients and actually refer patients to chiropractors.
More and more and more. It's getting very consistent now. And it's very helpful for them and for the patient.
Yeah, we need to work together for the patient's well-being.
Yes.
Because
yes.
that's what it's all about, is taking care of the patients.
And just like they have, people who hated the chiropractors, we had people who hated the medical doctors. That's all got to stop.
Yeah.
It's like so bad.
We need to cooperate more.
Yes, indeed. Definitely. And we are. We are. So back to this degeneration thing. So what exactly happens? I don't know if you can see this poster. Can we get on this poster? So when the head goes flying forward, now, when I say whiplash, does that mean car accidents? Yes. But does it only mean car accidents? No. This is what happens in football, hockey. We see this in...
you can even see somebody that goes on a roller coaster.
Roller coasters, and how about cheer and pom? Those are like the most injured people in high school now. So you can see how if the head goes flying forward and you tear little areas in the spine, and
the muscles and ligaments.
The muscles and ligaments, and it tears again here.
Because it's forcing the head in a extra, like you flex it to a certain range of motion, and it's going beyond the normal range of motion, so it's causing tears in the muscles and ligaments.
So if you can close in on this, let's just talk about this one for a minute, ligament damage. So what I did when I got electrocuted, it was so tight, everything was so tight, that I had torn this ligament in here.
Because the muscles spasm with an electric.
And then I tore the ligament in here. And that when I bent over, my head, the bone would move forward. It actually slipped forward. 4 on 5, this exact poster, 4 on 5 would slip forward.
And then the discs were dehydrated by you were actually steaming and smoking when you were electrocuted too.
And so all that was,
So the
my
discs would
discs all
decrease.
shrunk, and it squished the ligaments that's on the back side of these bones into my cord. So if I would bend over and bend down, I would go into a seizure. I would have a seizure. And, the world starts spinning, and all my extremities would twitch. And kind of interesting, after I did it the first time, I said, okay, let's try that again. It had happened again. Oh, my God. And so one of the things, you can see how this bone slips over on this one when you bend over. And that's what happened to me, and it hits the cord. That was a severe problem for me. And anyway,
So
I got better. Ta-da! And it doesn't slip so much anymore. So that's never supposed to heal. That's supposed to be 100% permanent American Medical Association disability impairment rating. It's a lifetime disability. But I'm hanging. I'm back.
So I had a patient the other day that said that after a whiplash injury, they didn't know that they had a problem till a year later. So what
That
happens is
Yeah.
the bones aren't moving properly. You lose the normal curve in your neck. The bones aren't moving properly, and then the discs aren't getting the nutrients in and the waste out, so they start getting dehydrated. They start thinning, and then since the nerve comes out of a hole between two bones in the disc, if the disc is getting thinner, then the nerve starts getting pinched. So you might not feel the effects of it for a while. So it's better to get it checked and get it realigned before the degeneration starts setting in, before the disc starts degenerating.
My first car accident where I got hit and I went flying in the air and I went through some flagpoles and I landed, but I only had a little scratch on my knee, and I picked it off and went like that. My car was totaled. It was a small car, Omni, but it was the safest car that year. I didn't know that either. So this was a big car, smacked into me.
Sounds like you were safe. You were lucky to have a safe car.
Yeah. And so I get done, and so a week goes by, another week goes by, and then I have this burning pain between my shoulders. So at that time, I was in the fraternity. I was partying a little bit, and I thought I must have maybe had someone pour some hot cigarette ashes on my back or something, is what it felt like. And I look in the mirror and I can't find anything. So I go down to the clinic and at the chiropractic school there, and I said, what happened here? I don't know what's going on, but it feels burning. It's like on fire. And they said, so when were you in a car accident? Or no, they said, were you in a car accident? And I said, no. And they took some x-rays. They came back and they said, so when was the car accident? Because they saw it on the x-ray that I just had a fresh whiplash. And I'm like, well, several weeks ago I was in a car accident, and because they're laughing.
You don't connect it a lot of times.
I'm like, how could this relate to this?
This person didn't connect. A year later, they had pains, and how could that be from the car accident?
Sometimes it's 5 years down the road. It's like until it degenerates enough to hit the nerve, they don't even know they had a problem, and it's still sitting there. Oh my God! And the chiropractic care usually corrects about a month for every year that it's been out. So you could have had a whiplash and then have another whiplash, or you could have a whiplash never felt and it's 10 years later. So that's 10 months just to get the spine lined up before everything is already healed in the wrong position. It takes a lot of time. Sometimes it can take a year, 2 years, 3 years down the road. So anyway.
So sometimes when it heals in the wrong position, it forms like adhesions, and then it's harder to readjust it. So were you just certified in manipulation under anesthesia?
I was.
So when would you use that?
It's okay. So manipulation under anesthesia has been around for a long time. There's people who abused it and it kind of screwed it up in Michigan. But I'm now with this group who's doing it for the right reasons. So
what are the right reasons?
So what are those right reasons? Well, one, you're looking at a patient who's let's say in a motor vehicle accident. They tore everything all up. And part of the healing process is it wants to heal. So fibrotic tissue, scar tissue will form to help stabilize everything while everything else is healing. So when that's done, it sometimes restricts the motion of your neck. So you might heal, perfectly heal, but you can't turn your head past that. And now, we don't do it on people who have not been to either a physical therapist or a chiropractor or some type of treatment.
So you need like conservative care. How long do you need to have conservative care to try to correct it before?
I would like 3 to 4 months. I mean, I just had an interesting case of somebody who they couldn't do anything. So I'm not sure. That's kind of new for me on that. But usually I like 3 to 4 months of conservative care. And if it stops getting better or it stagnates or they just can't get past a certain point, that's when manipulation under anesthesia goes into effect. And my goodness, it's the miracle stuff. It's like, some of these people are 2 years and they can't, do anything still, or they can't raise their arm past this. And it's too painful to go past that. So
you're breaking the adhesions?
Totally breaking adhesions.
So then what's to stop more adhesions from forming after the procedure's done?
Well, then you need that conservative care afterwards. All the stretching and the adjusting and all that
And the
stuff.
physical therapy.
You need that for, there's a protocol for a couple of months after that. If you're not going to do that, then we wouldn't do it either.
So the person has to be committed to getting better.
Right. I just had another patient. She was unwilling to go for a couple of months of care afterwards, and so she went and had the surgery.
So
now she's been screwed up for 2 months anyway.
Right after,
God.
after the procedure, how do the patients feel?
So far, it's been 100% of, oh my God, it's a miracle. I can touch my toes again. I can move my arm again.
So it's not painful?
Feels like you went, I've heard it described by several of them now as, it goes like this. I feel like I went to Gold's Gym and I overworked out all day and it's the next day. Feels like you worked out. It's different. So you might have, severe, throbbing pain going here, but now you have muscle pain. Different. It's totally different. It's regular pain, the pain they have.
So is this done in the chiropractor's office?
No, this is done in a hospital. This is done with usually I do it with like an orthopedic surgeon, an anesthesiologist, and maybe even another chiropractor in there too. Takes at least 2 people plus an anesthesiologist. But when I was there doing it a few weeks back, we had a lot of people there. I like that. I don't mind having a lot of people there. And obviously, what's funny is, you say, oh, they're doing it for the money. It's the opposite of that. So the surgeon gets about $26,000.
The orthopedic surgeon that you were working with.
To do the surgery for the same thing. And here he gets, maybe $2,000 or $1,500. So he's not doing this for profit. He's doing this because, I even asked one of them, I said, why would you do this? He says, it's for the patient. It's good for the patient. No surgery is good like this. No neck surgery is, you need to do neck surgery. There's a time and a place where you say, okay, you're doing damage to the cord. Like I was right there. It was either I'm going to be getting better or I have to have surgery. They wanted to fuse C3 to C7 because they were all messed. It was just, I was a mess. And, rather than, going around twitching and trembling the rest of my life, I would definitely want to do the surgery. But there were some things that could be done beforehand. Well, this is the step between conservative chiropractic care and surgery. This is the one-betweener that you can do before. Now, it's very specific, exclusive. It works like this. If you have a tear in there, you're not going to get this done. Because, see, we're tearing things up. So if you have a tear in the disc, that has to heal first. So that would not be a candidate. If you have not had conservative care, you're not a candidate. If you're not willing to follow it up, you're not a candidate. So there's several things that the orthopedic surgeon won't want to even be involved with this in those situations. So if you have you can have a bulging disc, you can have some of it prolapse a little bit, but when it's, busted off into pieces out there, this is not the way to go. If you have a chunk laying on a nerve, you still have to go have the surgery. So, but I'm telling you, it's pretty damn amazing.
So is it just for the neck, or do you do other joints? Or?
So it was, neck was one, shoulders are another, knees, hip joints, low back, middle back. They're all different areas and all different, yep. Now, and once in a blue, there might be a follow-up, but the group I'm with, they don't really do follow-ups. It's like, you wait 6 months, you need another one. You're not going to, the group before it, the way they used to do these years ago was they were doing like one, and then they would do another one the next day, they would do it again the next day. These group I'm with, one specific reason, very specific thing, fantastic results, amazing results. I've been able to bend over and touch your knees, and then you get done and you can touch your toes. You go, wow. And we want that. We want you to move. We want you, because we just broke up all those fixations. All that scar tissue, all that fibroid tissue is gone. So now is the time to be moving.
So after you break up all the tissue, do you have to heat it, ice it?
All of that. Yeah.
All of that?
All of that, yeah. And motion.
And motion.
Oh,
You
my
got to make sure you get the therapy so it doesn't
Yeah,
form
you're
the
going to go
adhesions
through
again.
a couple weeks of definite exercising and getting adjusted and making sure things are lined up. Man. But, in the beginning, you're not adjusting anything because you're leaving it alone. But you do need to keep stretching that. There's a protocol, probably an 8-week protocol. Yeah.
8 weeks afterwards.
8 weeks of protocol
And
afterwards.
3 to 4 months prior to.
3 to 4 months of conservative care beforehand. You can't just go in and do. You don't want to do anything invasive if you don't have to. So this would be something. It's
Less invasive than surgery, but more invasive than chiropractic.
then conservative care, yeah,
Adjustments.
or going to a physical therapist. It's definitely more, definitely more. But and it's for very specific people. You're not going to just do it. I from the last 20 that have been done over there, I think there's only been one in the 78-year-old person. You're not going to do kids. You're not going to do old people. You're not going to. You're pregnant. You're not going to do that either, because being knocked out you don't want to do that.
Right.
And there's still always the risk of anesthesia, but it's a real light anesthesia, and they're not doing nothing real heavy. It's just enough to keep you out a little bit. And we're definitely stretching it. We're definitely doing stuff. And again, that's a whole protocol as well. And definitely great. It was great to be trained in it, because I'm doing this, and I'm actually doing some of this.
Some of the moves.
Oh yeah, these moves on my regular patients, without knocking them out.
Just not to the extreme that
no,
you would be tearing.
you do have to stop it.
Yeah.
You're not going to take it to as far as the other one is, but hey, it's helping people too. So I like it. I think I'm impressed by it. I was always told it was so not what we should be doing, but it turns out that we're really good at it. Chiropractors are really good at this. It's like something we're really good at. Not that the medical doctor can't be great at it, because there are great
Like
medical
you said,
doctors
that
doing
orthopedic
it.
surgeon you're working
He's
with.
great,
He's
and
great
his buddies,
at it.
and the other guys who were there, they were great too. I mean, they knew more than I knew, but I know things they don't know. So, yeah, there was a little bit of give and take. I love learning, though. It was very good. I enjoyed it. I don't see me doing it more than ever once a month, maybe every other month. I'll just go in and see 7, 8 people, and then that'll be it for several months, because I'm not gonna. But my son's doing it like every other week, one of them, and the other one's doing it every other week also. And then I know a couple of the docs are doing it every other week down there. Hey, if you can stop a major surgery, a few here and a few there, I think it's pretty fabulous. Oh, the people are so thankful. They've lost hope at this point a lot of times. They don't know what to do, and they're very, unhappy about it. And this is like miracle stuff to them. This is like a total miracle.
Life-changing.
Life-changing. You know, you got pain running down your arm, you know, and it's swollen and numb and tingling and all these weird things going on, you know, and you wake up and that's all gone, you know, and you haven't been able to lift your arm up to get a ketchup bottle, you know, now you can, you know, your arms totally work again. Pretty amazing.
It sounds
to these
amazing,
people,
yeah.
it's like a miracle. So, you know, anyway, yeah, thanks for asking. It's kind of cool. Yeah, it was an experience. It was a lot of classroom time. And these guys, I don't know if everyone realizes, these medics, some of these guys, they get there like 5 in the morning and they're there all day. It's like, crazy hours. I don't know how they do that. But they may only work 3 days a week or something, but oh my God, I'm not that.
Are you talking about the anesthesiologist? Or
no.
Somebody...
Definitely not the anesthesiologist. You don't want him falling asleep. But no, everyone was alert, brilliant, and the nurses were great. I think we had 2-3 nurses in there every time. And yeah, they're great. They're really great. I like that. They're really helpful. Yeah, it was just a great experience. I don't know if it's for every chiropractor to go do this, but you know, it's a very specialized thing, I would think here.
Yeah.
There's probably only a few people certified like that.
You also told me that it was a very physical thing for you. So,
Killer.
So it's really hard on the chiropractor.
Killer. That's why you need 2 people. You know, you're picking up somebody who's got a, you know, a 100-pound leg, and I'm pulling it, and I'm hanging it, and doing all these positions with it. I was sweating pretty good. Yeah, you're sweating pretty good. And I was sore afterwards. I was physically sore afterwards. And during the class, when I did the class, we're practicing on each other. So my shoulder, I didn't realize, well, I knew it. I had torn some muscles back there when I got electrocuted, and it healed. I didn't realize, and every now and then I feel the whole thing moving again. So I thought, you know, well, did I rip something? Yeah, maybe ripped it, but it's all better now. It's like I can move different. You know, I didn't realize I even had the problem. I didn't know that problem exists. I knew I had
Because it came on slow. As the adhesions are forming, it's not like one day it's...
Yeah, and I felt better.
Yeah.
See, as I'm going, I'm feeling better, and I'm thinking, well, I'm healing, but I didn't realize the scar tissue was restricting me.
Yeah. It wasn't painful, it was just restrictive.
I mean, I had my shoulder blades weren't moving. They were locked in there to a degree. I didn't realize. So afterwards, I kept saying, did I just tear something? Because things are moving. You know, now I'm realizing, wait a minute, now it's moving normal. I just lost it.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, I had no idea I lost it. Like you said, at first, you know, when you tear these muscles back there in your shoulders, the supraspinatus I tore, and I tore a bunch of muscles there. I had a couple-inch tear in some of the muscles, and eventually, I mean, those were other surgeries that I was supposed to get done that I didn't do. But again, like you say, you know, how many people are going to go through all this to get better? You know, so that was supposed to be the simplest surgery for me, was that one. But it healed, and because I had an MRI, and it showed it torn, and it showed me all messed up. But I had MRIs of everything. So, like my neck, my shoulders, my hip joints. And I was supposed to replace this hip joint, too, because it looked ischemic, and it looked, oh, God, it was so painful. I couldn't put my socks on. The biggest problem I had was, how do I get my socks on? So, anyway, and my belt. I couldn't put my belt on because I couldn't get my shoulders to go behind my... And then a chiropractor who he was the, I'm going to have him come on our show if he's willing. And he said to me, why don't you put the belt on before you put your pants on? After torturing myself trying to get the stupid belt on, you know, and the socks, I would swing the sock just to catch the toe, and I'd work it from there. And it was terrible. Oh, my God. Unbelievable. That was nice torture, if you're into torture. Anyway.
But the body has amazing abilities to heal.
Yes. Yes.
Given the proper alignment, the proper nutrients, the proper...
Yes. Thank God.
exercises, physical therapy.
And, this is not the first time I destroyed myself. It's like, I'm an idiot. I remember skiing, I just tore that whole knee apart. And, when your foot's under your armpit, you go, that's anatomically incorrect. So, anyway, how long did that take me? I was down for about 3 months at least. That took a while to rebuild all those joints.
And again, you didn't do the surgery they suggested, and you did all the other things with the chiropractic, adjusting the knee, adjusting the spine to get the nerve functioning properly, nutrients, physical therapy.
Yeah, that was amazing. I remember telling the MD, I said, "Do you guys ever have miracles here?" And he goes, "Occasionally." I said, "I'm taking one. I need a miracle because I can't be down. I'm too active. I couldn't be down and function in my life."
Right, and they said that you had a total tear of the ACL, and it would never be the same. And the second MRI says barely perceptible tear.
Yeah, which was kind of weird. He said, it's like a rubber band. How could it possibly reattach like that? But see, I didn't ask that. When I called the radiologist who read the MRI, he said he's so sorry for me and it's really bad and blah, blah, blah. I said, are there 2 fibers left from that ACL tear? Could there be 1 or 2 fibers still attached? He says, yes, there could be. I said, good, because 2 = 4, 4 = 8.
Yeah,
I got to keep doubling this thing and I'm going to regrow it.
Unlike a rubber band that stretches and breaks, the body heals. The body has an ability to heal. The cells can regenerate.
Right.
So,
and it did, apparently. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They said I'd probably never dance again. We went dancing all the time. So I'm happy. I'm not saying I can't hurt it again, though. I remember, it was my left leg, and every now and then I go, my right leg, my right knee might hurt because I did something weird. Or my left one might hurt. It's not like I'm starting over or anything. It heals a lot faster but then, that was a massive tear. That was all tore up.
Well, but we are getting older, so things are healing slower.
Okay, this was 20-some years ago, but now it heals a lot faster, I'm saying, my knees. So, yeah, but it does...
Faster because it's less severe injuries now.
Correct. Okay. Yeah. Way faster, because I don't ever let myself get like that anymore. But it can happen. It does happen. Got to be careful. Like I was just telling a gentleman how to regrow that thing again, his knee joint. He already had some surgery on it, and I'm like, you can actually regrow your knee joint. And why do I know it? Because I did it. It actually can regrow. That's when I started selling Discard. There's a vitamin that it's inexpensive, and it was for the spine, to regenerate the spine. So it's all the nutrients for regenerating the spine. And I used it to regenerate my knee. Oof, that was painful, though. It was painful.
Again, we're talking about calcium complex. They can get it in most drugstores. And just not straight calcium. You need a calcium complex.
But not just like calcium, magnesium, not, CalMag or phosphorus and manganese. And you need the whole,
D3.
you need all of it together. Most places don't sell that, actually. Because I keep telling people to go out and get it, and they can't find it. Interesting. So, anyway. Yeah, it's like $14 a bottle.
Yeah. For a month's worth.
For a month. So ridiculous. So cheap. And you take a different one. You take something else. It's even better or something.
Yeah, because your Discard is made out of shellfish, and I don't eat shellfish.
Right. So you're not a shellfish person.
No.
I am. Okay. I admit it. So let's go back to this degeneration. I want to go to that chart over there.
Okay.
You want me to explain it?
So the first one here is a near normal. There's normally a reverse C-shaped curve in the neck, and if you look at it, can I stand?
Yes, you can.
If we look at it, we have this nice curve, and the discs are nice spaces between. You can't see the disc, but you can see the space that they leave. The vertebrae themselves are relatively square or rectangular.
Look at that beautiful curve.
Nice
So that's
curve.
for corrective care.
That's a normal curve.
So a person comes in, they just want to keep themselves good. So we just check them, anything misaligned. Sometimes we adjust them, sometimes we don't if there's anything in there. But I'd say about 20% of the practice, 30% of the practice is all on corrective care.
And then the next one, this person lost their curve. The disc spaces are still nice. The bodies haven't really changed much, but they lost their curve. So how do you lose the curve? we said whiplash. Nowadays, we're seeing more and more people lose their curve just from their body ergonomics. We're always texting, or our computer screen, the laptops are ergonomically not correct and we're hunched over. So
And this is a fresh one.
it eventually starts causing the structure to change and we have a reverse curve. It's fresh. He says it's fresh. That's because there's not degeneration. The discs still look nice. And this one, the discs, the curve is gone. Here's a nice disc. Here's a nice disc. But this disc here is thinning. And then a nice disc and a nice disc.
Now, wait a minute. I hear a lot of times they say, well, it's old age.
All the discs are the same age.
So why would one degenerate more than the other?
Because it's misaligned, it's not getting the nutrients, it's not moving properly, it doesn't have the nerve supply.
And you can see that. So how long does it take to fix that puppy? A year and a half to 2.5 years. This is not a weekend deal. It takes a year and a half for your body to regrow that disc, a year and a half to 2.5 years. Okay, let's go to the next one.
So our bodies in their infinite wisdom, if we are rubbing something or something is like I'm always using a shovel, I'm going to get calluses on my hands. My body wants to put materials to areas of stress. So if the bones are not moving properly, it's causing different stresses, and the body, in trying to protect us, puts different bony materials to try to protect it, to hold the disc in place. We call them spurs or osteophytes. So in this one, so the bones actually start changing shape. In this one, the curve is gone. We have nice disc space, a little bit thinning, really thin, and a little bit thinning. And the bones themselves are starting to change shape. And that's because the body is trying to protect itself. And if you look at this one, you can really see the shape of the bone is changing. There's like little points at the top and bottom of this bone. And
That's what my neck looked
square or
like.
rectangular anymore. Especially where the discs are thin, the shape of the bone is really affected. And then if it goes on long enough, it actually starts fusing. And this one we might not correct it, but we can stop it from getting worse. And when it starts making these osteophytes or the spurs, it needs to get calcium from somewhere. So sometimes it steals it from the bone. So the bone density themselves start decreasing, or you get little places where it looks like it's nibbled away a little, so that they can build up the spurs to protect the disc from coming.
So after I got electrocuted, I looked like phase 4 there.
Right there.
Yeah, I looked like that.
So right afterwards, you didn't have the spurs, though. You had the decreased disc space.
No, but they grew.
It takes time to get the spurs growing.
Didn't take that long. It was shorter than I had, ever would think. But think about this. How long does it take to fix a busted-in-half arm?
6 to 8 weeks.
Okay. Sometimes less, but, yeah. So in 8 weeks, it regrows a whole giant bone.
Correct.
So that's how fast that's moving. It doesn't happen in a day, but a couple months later, you're going to be mushy and massive and horrible. So I went to that, and then I got to phase 3, and now I'm at between phase 2. I'm in phase 2 now. So, because it says 3.5 to 4.5 years. It's been 3 years for me, so I'm somewhere between these two now. I got a little degeneration looking in the thing. I got my curve back, and also because I tore the ligaments, so something, a very special thing. It's like it's called fluoroscopy, which is a series of pictures all taken in a short period of time. So it
looks like a moving X-ray.
It's like a moving X-ray. So I have X-rays of me bending my head forward and back, and our office has it. The hospital, I imagine, has a nice thing, and I know my son in Saginaw has one as well, and the one in Commerce Township. So that's a very cool X-ray. Like I could take a picture of my shoulder and I could see everywhere where it's screwed up, and it's unbelievable.
Well,
anyway,
you can see the restrictions or
very
the abnormal
cool,
motions.
very cool. I just talked about it at the chiropractic, the local chiropractors, and told them they can send them over and we can take a shot of that and send it back out. But it's unbelievable. Anyway, so it would slide forward. So when I brought my head, it's here, they're all lined up this way. Look, when I'm looking back, then I bend forward, and this bone would actually just slip over.
So it shows you which ligaments were damaged.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Unbelievable. So, oops, I goofed up. Don't get electrocuted.
Especially with 220.
Especially with 220. 110 maybe, but not 220. And you know, it's surprising how many people they had situations with this electricity thing. Anyway, but I repaired, I got better. Anyway, we're going to wrap up here. We're going to go to exercises with Dr. Tony Rodnick, who's, congratulations, is a fellow of the International Chiropractic Association.
Thank you.
Yay, Tony.
What an honor.
Wow. Fantastic. Anyway, we'll see you next month at Ask the Chiropractor, and we're going to go to the exercises.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, God. You're so kissable.
Hi, I'm Dr. Tony Rodnick. Welcome back to Ask the Chiropractor. We're going to talk about some spinal hygiene exercises. These are just nice posture exercises. So we're going to start with one that we call the eagle. You're going to start in a nice inner winter position. You're going to stand with your feet shoulder width apart, stand tall, tighten your abdominal muscles, and as you take a deep breath in, bring your arms up and tip your head back. And then you're just going to reach way tall. We're going to open up all those joints and hold it there, and then breathe out and relax. And let's do it another time. Take a deep breath in and tip your head back and reach up. And then just breathe out and come down. One more time. We're going to do this 2 or 3 times. Do it 2 or 3 times a day. We also call these spinal hygiene exercises, so we suggest maybe just doing it when you do your dental hygiene a couple times a day. Just a couple extra minutes makes all the difference. The second one we call the hummingbird. We're going to start in the same inner winter posture, standing tall with your feet shoulder width apart, and bring your arms up, and you're going to make backwards circles with your shoulders. And as you do this, you want to focus on the space between your shoulder blades, and you can tip to one side. We want everything symmetrical, so if we tip to one side, then tip to the other side. This kind of offsets some of the improper posture ergonomics from the texting when we're always hunched over. So we just want to kind of do this nice and gentle. Just do it for a few minutes. And then the third exercise, again, from always looking down. This helps strengthen the muscles in the back of the neck and try to put some more curve back in your neck. You're going to clasp your hands together and put them behind your head, but you're not pushing with your hands. As you take a deep breath in, you're going to push back with your neck, with your head, and you're just going to hold it there. Now we're just pushing straight back. We're not tipping our head up, so we want to just take a deep breath in and push back and hold it, and then breathe out. Do it again. Deep breath in, push back, and hold it. You should feel it in the back of your neck. It shouldn't be painful. You just feel you're working those muscles. And one more time, take a deep breath in and hold it and breathe out. Just 3 exercises for help your posture. Enjoy. I'm glad to be at Ask the Chiropractor. See you next month.